Good after evening, noon, and happy Wednesday night. We are here at the Ham Radio Kids table, and I started to goof that up, and I saw Vince. He was smirking. He was waiting for me to screw it up.
Oh no, Vince just realized he had his unhappy Vince face on, so he tried to smile for the camera. You're doing just fine, brother.
Okay, all right. Well, Vince, let's turn that frown upside down. What do we got to do that to turn that frown upside down tonight?
Oh man, I was just thinking about my, I hate to say it, work. You know, that four
No.
letter. I was just thinking about my work
God.
day for a second before
Yeah.
we went live. That's all.
Four-letter word, four-letter word.
Yeah,
There
Yeah.
you go.
yeah.
Well,
It's a bilabial fricative that issues a paycheck.
Yeah.
let's be careful throwing those 4-letter words around here.
Well, you know, I did say bilabial fricative in a meeting today, and somebody threatened to call HR on me.
Jesus.
Do it.
I
You know,
know, right?
my director started off with, I've already been on the phone twice with HR today. So that's like, great. All righty. So,
Yeah.
hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Mike,
Good. I'm
see you're
doing
in here
good.
tonight. How you doing? How's things in Mike's corner of the
Oh,
country?
it's like a balmy 40 degrees out. I mean, you got a heat wave going on right now here in Western New York. It's all good.
I tell you, based after the last couple of
Yeah.
days, I agree. I think it's looks like it's about 42 here. So,
Yeah.
how about you, Jeff? How's Delaware holding out?
It was 37. It got up to like 46 today. A lot of the snow has been melting. It's supposed to get into the 50s tomorrow and the next, what's tomorrow? Thursday and Friday, and rain sometime like Thursday night. So our 4 or 5 inches of snow will be gone probably by Sunday, if not sooner.
How about you, Vince? How's things going up there in
It's
Canada?
been crazy. It has been negative 20 or negative 25 Celsius. So anything below negative 10 is below zero on the freedom unit scale. So freaking cold. And
Yeah.
I had 8 inches of snow on top of my lawn 3 days ago, and the temperature swung 25 Celsius degrees in 6 hours, as it is known to do in this area. And most of the snow has melted, but it leaves behind a bunch of ice. Then comes along today. And today was full of wind and full of precipitation for about 2.5 hours, enough to cause a 100 car pileup on the major freeway north of the city of Calgary.
Oh,
wow.
geez.
So, and 2 hours later, it's like I couldn't see 50 yards driving around my town. So it's been crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's winter. Whatever.
It's winter.
Yeah,
Well, you know,
see, it's not, but it is damn cold out. It has been damn cold here too.
Yeah, we went through a cold snap, and that's kind of what sparked the conversation in my head as far as, looking, we've got Winterfield Day coming up here in, I think, January. We've got cold weather here now in most of the United States and Canada. How do we safely get out and activate and do those things out in the cold and continue to still have fun doing amateur radio and staying safe?
Right.
It's kind of
Be
what
smart and be safe.
Okay, guys, that's it. The show's over.
There you go. See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good talk.
Yeah, thanks very much. See you later.
Yeah.
Fade to
But,
black. There it is.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah. Vince is right. I'm out of here. See ya. But no, so we've got one thing. Oh, and by the way, Mark is roughing it over there in La Brea
Wearing
Heights
shorts.
at 62 degrees right now. So
Yeah, wearing board shorts.
poor Mark. I say
Go for it, Mark.
we
go
queue
ahead.
up the Sarah McLaughlin and get that guy a GoFundMe account.
Damn,
I think that's what he needs.
almost owed me a keyboard.
So, what were we saying, Mike?
I was going to say, it was winter operations, like operating safely in the winter, is actually what kicked off my YouTube channel. And if you look at I intentionally put this background up. You can see the ice hut, and if you look to the side of the ice hut, you'll see one of the ice sled that I used. This is actually a SOTA summit that I hiked up in January for a VHF contest, and I wanted to test out the little buddy heater in the ice hut, and I wanted to see how much gear I could pack in the sled and comfortably carry. So I brought it out to a state forest the week before to test it in the field and kind of what I could pack, how things would work, practice setting up in the cold, and instead of in the garage or something. And I was like, hey, well, I'll film it. Maybe I'll put a video out and we'll see where it goes, and the rest is kind of history. But testing some stuff and getting out and operating, doing SOTA in January is a lot of what actually got my channel started, of all things. And so being in Western New York, we have 4 seasons. So every couple months it's something new that you got to deal with, whether it's ice and snow or the bugs, the rain, you name it.
And is that 4 seasons in the month of December, or 4 seasons throughout the year?
15 minutes.
Sometimes we get 4 seasons in a week, man. How that could be.
And so I kind of feel like we're going there ourselves based on what Jeff was saying. So, here in Indiana, we had the saying, and I'm sure a lot of people, same thing. It's like, if you don't like the weather here in Indiana, wait 5 minutes, it will change.
Yeah, I think they say that about a lot of different places. I mean,
think so too.
Weather changes all the time. It's never a static thing.
No.
Between the seasons, the larger seasons, the larger oh God, I just forgot the word, but it always changes. It could change over the period of season or a period of few days. It depends on where you're at, geography, all that stuff. So it's going to change. Just wait for it.
Well, one thing to mention, talking about like the winter operations, I had a fail today. When I was doing WinLink Wednesday this morning, and I knew that this topic was coming up. And one of the things I kind of realized is I had to fix, and I forced myself to just do it outside on the deck with the tools that I had in my go bag. I had to like restrip a wire and reapply a connector. And I was like, almost like it seems like a lot of the times that I've had antenna or equipment failures, it's been in the winter. And that's when I've had to do field repairs on antennas, or I've had issues. And I think that's one of the things. It's easy to talk about staying warm and layering up and all this other stuff. But I was realizing as that happened today, the issue with the antenna connector, that it seems like a lot of the times it's in the winter and the cold that you encounter some of these challenges. And it does make it a little bit more challenging to deal with field repair and some stuff like that in the winter. But that's one of the things, at least is my experience. I don't know, Vince, or if Jeff or Tim, if you've encountered that, now that you think about it through that perspective. But I think that's one of like the things that can often get overlooked is how easy things can go wrong in the winter.
Yeah, I would say it's possible. I started doing Parks on the Air during the winter in the beginning of January 2021. And yeah, things can change very easily due to the weather, the wind, just the cold itself. I mean, you're trying to screw an antenna together and your hands get cold and you don't feel it really lock in. You think it is, then you don't have a good connection and you have problems making contacts, and it can happen. It's just trying to make sure you cover all your bases, make sure you do the things correctly, make sure, is it screwed in tightly? Is the cable connected, the thing plugged into the radio or to wherever? So, and when you're cold, I think your mind says, oh, I just want to get in my car. I just want to get in my car. And you're kind of rushing through stuff. You don't think about what you're doing. I've had loose connections between my antenna or the antenna itself or the cable, and I just didn't realize it until like I start taking it apart. It's like, oh, that was kind of loose. I'm surprised I actually made the activation happen. So you gotta be a little bit mindful of stuff sometimes.
I'm assuming, I'm just guessing, right, that wires, connectors, the jackets of the wires, things like that, could being out in the cold could shrink a little bit, cause some difficulties, make it maybe a little more brittle than what it would be if it was, in a 70 or 80 degrees outside.
Different materials.
Yeah, shrinkage is real.
That's what she said.
I was in the pool.
It was cold.
Yeah, well, I use I do use a mag mount with a 17-foot whip often. And one of the things I notice if I use that setup, or even if I'm just running ham sticks off of a mag mount in the winter, is the coax that was in the car. Oh, that's fine. You start winding that up to take down, but then like the other 6 or 8 feet that was outside of the car, and it's 12 degrees outside. That coax is definitely not his cooperative.
No,
Little rigid,
not.
And
little
stuff.
stiff.
Yep, totally,
Yep.
totally. And it's the same thing. Like if I go activate and my car, like I'm not going far, and my car's been out in the driveway, and I got a bag in there and stuff, but everything's cold, and it's a little bit different for setting it up versus if it's warm and all nice and flexible.
So last Sunday, I do that every Sunday morning live stream. And when I got up, it was -4 degrees outside. Yeah. And I'm debating about, do I go over there? And so I went ahead and went. It was about -1 by the time I got there. The sun came up, started to warm it up a little bit. And so I just went ahead and I went ahead and did it. But at the end of the day, though, I was tracking the outside temperature. I don't run the truck while I'm live streaming, so or using a radio. So I got it warmed up, and it was about 60 degrees in the truck. I had it off for an hour, and I think I was down to like 38, 39 degrees after the hour. But ultimately, what happened was my antenna stopped working. My ATOS stopped going up and down, so I couldn't even tune. Yeah, so I don't know. I brought it home. I pulled it out, brought it into the house, and I stuck it on the register, and I let it sit there for a couple hours, and I went back outside, and I couldn't get it to move. So I've got it here to take apart on the bench again.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, those are the kind of thing, right? So preparing for equipment failures when you're out, but not only that, really it's just keeping yourself warm and keeping yourself safe. You got the POTA shanty. I've got one, a buddy heater. I reached out to Jeremy, Haygood. I think that's his last name.
Yeah.
Haygood. He's the guy up in Alaska that does a lot of the outdoor in the middle of the winter things. And to come on here, unfortunately, the time difference and his job, he works in heating and cooling. He's pretty busy right now, he said.
Probably more on the heating than the cooling side.
Yeah, a little bit on the well, they're having a heat wave up there in Alaska. So but I was hoping, so I'd like to still get him in, and I've talked to him about maybe doing an after hours recording of it to talk about that a little bit more, because I think that is fair, especially with winter field day coming up, and people are going to be outdoors for much longer than just an hour, right? So
so if the obvious things don't fail, caused by shrinkage or stiffening up or whatever, let's think about the less obvious things. Battery packs.
Yes.
And I am holding a USB-C PD battery pack. It's 22.5 watts or whatever it says on it. And I've got a couple of these, 2 or 3 of these probably. I've got 2 of them. I've got some other packs. And it's the damnedest thing. I was out at Banff National Park as soon as I got my KX2, so it's got to be 6 weeks ago now. And I had this small pack with me. And in the 10 to 15 minutes it took me to walk the 100 yards from my truck to the beautiful Adirondack chairs that they have around our national parks, which you can sit in and drink in the view. This battery pack failed, and it allowed me to draw a little bit of current through it, but it wouldn't let me draw more than about 1.5 amps. Now it's rated at 3 amperes, but it failed when it was cold. So I take the thing and I stick it inside my jacket and I hold on to it for 5 or 10 minutes, and as soon as I put it out, bam, fails again. Brought it home. I put it in the freezer, the deep freeze, for 15 minutes. Sure enough, did exactly the same thing. So I knew it wasn't an equipment failure, but it was a battery failure. So don't neglect to think about keeping your batteries warm when you're out, no matter the size of the battery, even if it's a 20 amp hour like my Dakota here.
There you go.
These things get cold too, right? So it all matters.
So I don't know about the battery the little battery packs, the little portable ones. I know the other batteries. Like last summer I bought a 300 amp hour battery specifically to have in the back of the Bronco. And one of the things that I didn't want to do, because it's a 300 amp hour battery, is to take it in and out all the time. So I got one that had both. It had controlled heating elements in it.
Sure.
So when it is below a certain temperature, there's a discharge temperature and there's a charging, minimum temperature that it needs to be to do that safely.
That's right.
And so this guy, if there's no discharge or charge, the heaters do not come on. If you go to charge it or discharge or whatever it is, it does it at about a half current, half rating.
Yep.
It kicks in those heaters, and once the heater brings the cells up to temperature in the BMS, it does that. Now, the one thing I did notice when it was negative 4 degrees outside, I jumped into the battery, the BMS, and I looked at it, and it was running about 16 degrees, both in around the cells and the BMS. So I felt like I was, at least at that point, I was fine, and didn't need to worry about it. It never kicked in the heaters or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but keeping your batteries warm is really the big thing. I've never had an issue with my radio being cold in the outside. Bringing it back inside, however, and getting it warmed up, depending on the dampness of where you live, you'll certainly have some condensation build up on the inside of the radio until it warms up. So the general rule is, don't fire up a device that's been an electronic device that's been outside in the cold until it's had a really good solid chance to warm up. And that clearly depends on the size of the object and thermal mass and a whole pile of stuff they taught us in our misgiven youth in high school. But I always allow, 8 to 16 hours. So
I don't know what it is with you guys.
I have no idea what it is either.
I don't know.
I'm probably going to say
I'll take a drink
supplements.
anyway.
I'm going to say
there you go.
supple at some point tonight.
Oh boy, watch out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the condensation is something I realized when I started operating in one of the ice huts with one of the heaters, is you do notice that you're getting some of that in there. And usually I'll have like some vents and stuff, but you'll notice it on the radios for sure.
So it's interesting. I have vents because it's designed. It is an ice fishing hut.
Yeah.
It's got vents around it because I think they think about people, having heaters inside. Now speaking of heaters, I have a buddy heater propane heater. It does have a oxygen sensor on there,
Okay.
but something that I do is I also keep a portable oxygen sensor with me. That way, if the buddy heater fails, at least I've got another device that's going to alarm if there's an issue. But I don't keep the door open per se, but I have vents open to help with that.
Yeah.
I haven't had issues with batteries or anything getting too cold. I do keep my ICOM 705 for like the last year and a half. I've kept it in the car, and it's in a small camera bag with a 6 hour amp hour Denko battery and some antennas and stuff. And when we get really cold in the winter, like a couple times when we get down to single digits or even below zero, I would go get it, bring it in, and I have one of like the laser thermometers. We have a gecko and we have a snake, so we have to keep the reptile enclosures, certain temperatures, and so we have some of the that laser gun thing. And I've taken the temperature on the 705 and the battery, and it's never gotten below freezing where it would, cause concern for current, charging or current draw. But I mentioned this because the ICOMs, some of them, and this includes the 705, it includes the ID52 and the ID50, and probably some other ones as well. If you read the manuals, ICOM has a low temperature protection that kicks in at below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and it will limit output to half a watt. And that's on the 705. It's on the ID52, ID50, and it's an odd thing because I don't have that on any of my other HTs. I don't see it on my Yaesu FT4X, or I don't see it on my Fangs or anything. And that's probably the only thing that's kept me from buying a 52 or a 50, is because it gets cold outside, and yes, I could keep it warm in my coat or my armpit or something like that, or whatever. But I haven't encountered it personally, but Tracy VE3 TWM from Outdoors on the Air, who's over in Ontario across the pond from me, he has had that happen. He didn't know about it until it happened to him, and he realized he was only getting half a watt out and on the 705. And then, lo and behold, saw it in the manual. He did a video on it, and then I was like, oh my gosh, it is in the manual. And read a couple other manuals for ICOM, and it's been in there. So it's an interesting thing. But
feel like I saw
whether it's an ICOM radio or a LiFePO battery, whatever it is, that's the temperature does come into play, and you want to make sure you don't let those things get too cold where it's a problem to charge or discharge.
John, I don't know if it does. Last week when we were talking about this, I thought somebody said that it was like negative 30 degrees.
I know there's a spec on this, and it seems to me it is in the technical supplement.
Yeah. The supplement?
Supplement.
Okay. Is that technical? John does say the ATOS may experience shrinkage below a certain temperature. And I agree. That's fair.
It's not in the supplement. That's odd.
Yeah.
I've run mine at minus 45 or minus 50. So without any issues. It gives me grief, however, when it is, I can't say moist, wet outside. And it forms a layer of moisture on the outside of the antenna, which screws with its ability to tune. And that's really bad when it's cold, because then that forms ice, and of course it can't move up and down.
Yep.
Actually, I did see this. This came up last night, Vince. Somebody asked in the Jason's live stream, asked about the ATOS whip alternative.
The W490B from Larson is the whip that I run. That's a commonly available whip. The idea is just to put a bigger whip in it. It may involve drilling out the tip of the antenna so that it takes the bigger shaft diameter in the hole. Guys, just keep your mind out of the gutter. Okay, it goes easier this way. And that way you can fit that whip in. As soon as you do that, though, you have to set up your radio to work on it. There's a menu option in the radios for ATOS HF as opposed to ATOS HF plus 6.
I need to get you so when people clip that.
So that when people clip that,
you're front and center.
So there we go. So ATOS plus ATOS only, ATOS HF only as opposed to HF plus 6. As soon as you lengthen that whip, you give up 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. On my prior ATOS that I wore out after 15 years of using it, I have a 60 inch whip on it. So, I mean, it can be done.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go. Nice, simple, easy mod. And I would not suggest doing this during your warranty period. There, I said it.
Yeah, I don't like doing anything like that. No surgical procedures on my gear until after the warranty period's over.
That's right.
That's why my 891 still has the 4-prong Yaesu power connector on there, and once
I
the
thought you were
warranty expires, then I'll do the power pole mod.
I thought you were going to say that you still had the plastic over the display.
No,
until
I
that-
don't.
until
I
your
tore that
warranty.
off.
Took that off. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the same way. I've got the USB-C adapter, or well, not adapter, but the replacement board for the 705, and I've got it, and I've just sat on it because I don't want to do it until after the warranty's over. And I think I'm there now, so I'll probably do it. I got a bunch of projects stacked up, including some Morse code teaching machines that I bought.
That swap out was a lot easier than I thought. I held off on it for about a year. I only did it in the last month or so, and I'm glad I did. And it was a lot more straightforward and easier than I thought. But all of the 3 HF radios that I have, the G90, the 705, and the 7300, all three of them were bought used. So I don't have warranties or anything on them. I haven't done anything significant. I actually unmodded my 7300 when I took out the whatever that display port thing or something, I forget what it was that was in it, and put the traditional tuner jack on the back. But
did you have the little card that tapped into the IF stream so you
Pan
could do the
adapter
pan adapter?
tap.
Yeah, I took that off because I didn't know what it was, and put the original thing back in again because I got it used. I didn't know for like a year or two. I was like, oh, this is different. You know, when I went to go buy the tuner cable for my LDG tuner, I'm like, there's no place to plug it in.
Yeah, I did that on mine just so I could before the 7300 Mark II came out, right?
Okay.
You know, you couldn't really do radio on the computer very easily, and so that pan adapter allows you to use like SDR Uno or SDR Play or whatever it was, and then you could control the radio through that and have a nice waterfall.
Nice.
And that's what I did, 5 years ago before I switched over to the Flex.
But since everything I do is portable, like I was like, I don't really have a need for it. It's just easier I'd rather have the tuner cable, so that I can tune.
Mine
easier.
Still tunes.
What's that?
Mine's still tuned. It just extended through the back. You needed to have the port, so you could mount the what you want to call it, the lead coming over from the SDR.
Yeah.
So you had that. I'm sorry, the lead going to the SDR, so you could take off the IF tap. But then the original cable would plug into it, and then you could plug your tuner into that, the 4-pin Molly or not Molly. Whatever those things are called. Molex. That's
initially, before I got the cable, I was just using I was just putting the radio in AM or RIDI and keying up to send a carrier where it would prompt the tuner to go. But with the cable, it allows me to use the actual tuner button.
Dingus.
Dingus.
You and your dingus.
That's the preferred acronym here. And
well, I saved the pan adapter now that I know what it is. And
oh yeah, I'd put that thing back in. I'd put it back in. It's they're cool, and you can pipe the IF stream right over into just any SDR.
So somebody's mentioning hand warmers a bit earlier on in the chat. That's always a good thing. Earmuffs, like all that personal protective stuff.
Yeah.
That you don't need in summertime. You also don't need a cooler in the winter. You can just set your beer on the tailgate. And if you're lucky enough and it's below freezing, the beer will grow a layer of ice and be really cold for you.
So you can trade your cooler in for a couple Walmart sacks or Canadian Tire or
any of that.
Yeah.
Any of that. So it's almost to the point where if you're going out a lot in the winter, you've got your gear list, right? Everybody has a gear list that they check off when they go to take gear out. You all have that, right? Just everybody nod. And so
I bet if they don't have one, they can find one on Hand Smarter with Vince's website.
They can find one right on the front of my website. There is a link called Ham Smarter Tools, and in there you will find a checklist spreadsheet, and you can modify it to your heart's content. And then you put on there what you need for winter, what you need for summer, for personal protective equipment, for footwear, for all those things. I've got now 3 blankets in the truck, and one of them is waterproof on one side. So if I should
Okay.
happen to find a picnic table that's covered in snow, I get out my snow brush, because snow brush is essential POTA equipment. I proved that with a video with Tim in 7KOM a couple years back. I used it as an antenna end support after I swept off the picnic table he and I sat at and shot our video at. So snow brush is good. It's always in my truck. The blankets, then I can set down on the bench of the picnic table, and I don't soak up any moisture. I set it melted snow in my butt. So it keeps my butt dry, which means I stay warm. That's not a bad thing. But you might want, if you're going out to do QRP, you might, instead of wanting to bring 1 battery pack, bring 2, so that you've got a backup in case one of them does want to get cold. You can leave one in your inside pocket while you're using the other one.
Vince,
So
I just thought about something. You can bring a cooler, and I think this may be a good idea.
how's that?
You could get some of that, like a soft-sided cooler that you would normally take to
Yeah.
keep your beer in. Put your batteries in there with some of the hand warmers. Now, so we
Now
used
you're
to,
talking.
so when I was a scout leader, we camped year round. So I did a lot of winter camping, and one of the things we'd do is around dinner time, would fire up some of those hand warmers and throw them in our sleeping bags. That way, when you were ready to go to bed, your sleeping bag was up to temperature. And so, I'm just thinking, you could probably do something very similar.
Totally.
Yeah. And then that way your heating pads, although you might want to make sure you have a partition between the batteries and those hand warmers, but
Yeah.
a firewall. What's
Yeah,
up?
exactly. Right. So,
Yeah.
you think about the gear you're going to bring. You plan it as much as you plan your radio gear to come out. And Mike, you had a great story there with your shelter and the photo, and the little buddy heater and all the rest of that stuff. Hopefully you don't have to hike too far carrying all that stuff, but that's just another argument for QRP in my books, because that stuff doesn't weigh very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun to operate from up there in the winter. Just, you get up 1,600 feet, and I tend to go up there during the VHF contests, and so then I want the line of sight and the height and stuff. But it's fun, and most of the gear, because you know how big the 705 is, right?
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
almost everything else in the sled is all the big stuff. It's the chair, the table, the tent, the heater, the mast, the stakes. And I could minimize some of that stuff. Now that I've been operating for years, but I know how, some tricks there, but still that takes up the bulk of it is all like the, the shelter stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally right. And the sled itself, like if you don't own a sled, how are you going to hump all that stuff up? Because I'm sure
Fortunately, this is a 1-pointer, and it's trickier going downhill. That's the hard part, is because the sled wants to go faster than you.
Oh, right.
Can't you
got everything in there.
Jump on the sled and ride it down?
From getting away from you too much and things spilling out. But this is a 1-pointer. This is a 20-minute easy walk up a trail. So
yeah, indeed. And I think Jody's posted the name of a carbon fiber snow brush, so that's an interesting accessory. He's posted that in the chat. So anyway, these are kind of the things y'all got to think about, right? You think about how to wind your wire up when you're done, or your feed line up when you're done. How to make it easy. Don't use electrical tape to hold it, because e-tape gets brittle in the cold. Just bring some Velcro with you, or some shoestrings, or however you decide to hold it in a nice loop. And if you can't loop it up nicely, well, just do your best with it and take it home and let it warm up.
Well, Mike brought up a good point, right? The coax that goes outside of the car when he was operating was at a different pliability than the stuff that was in the car.
Yep.
Yeah. Indeed, right? So all of that stuff plays into it. Now, if your battery doesn't freeze and it doesn't fail like this little wonderful pack of mine, it certainly will have reduced output. And depending on the battery chemistry, it'll have more reduction, less output. Yeah. Anyway, we'll figure that out. The colder it gets, it'll deplete faster. So don't forget about those things. So that's another reason to bring a backup battery, or bring a battery bigger than you need. Thermal mass being a thing, it'll stay warmer longer. Bring a 50 amp hour battery instead of a 20 if you're going to go for 12 hours. Common logic would say a 20 amp hour battery at 100 watts on phone is pretty good for 16 hours. Drawing blah, 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 so much per hour, but you're going to get about half that on a real cold day. So
Kevin's in the chat now, so we can't talk QRO. We got to keep it QRP from now on.
We have to keep it QRP. Okay, we'll keep it QRP.
Easier, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Crying out loud.
Yeah. Well,
Good
one thing too,
golly.
we can talk all about layers and keeping warm and the importance of that, but one other thing that comes into play in the winter is it starts getting dark after lunch, right? It gets dark quick and early, the next few months. So
yeah,
I think lighting is important. Like if I'm,
Mhm.
I love, this is when I use my headlamp the most, because if I'm going out to activate, after work, or like I said, even after lunch, it's going to get dark early. And if I'm setting up like a off center fed dipole, or even fed half wave, or some of these things, like you want to be able to see in the dark. So lighting, I think, is really important. And then even for your radios, and I think I mentioned this in a video recently, just having like a little book light that you can clip onto the rails or clip onto your transceiver somewhere, so that you can just make sure that all the knobs and the buttons are illuminated enough so that you don't accidentally bork it and hit the wrong one accidentally. So I think lighting definitely comes into play more. I've got lanterns, headlamps, flashlights, little clip-on things. Like they all get used this time of year.
Well,
And
and, go ahead, Tim.
No, as I said, that's fair. I've picked up quite a few small flashlights. That one that Freddie Mac turned me on to in down when we were in Huntsville last year, and I love that thing. I've actually got like 3 or 4 of them now, and I got the Big Brother. I found it's Big Brother. Mike, you did have pants on, right? He jumped up really quick there.
So I found
Oh,
this
there you go.
in a dollar store. If you want to big and me.
Oh, yeah.
And so this looks like a conventional, E26 bulb. It's about 2/3 the size of it, and it's supremely bright. There's I don't know, 4 or 5 LEDs in there, and it draws a little bit of current, but you can hang that up at the top of your tent. So that's
I just
not a bad thing.
So I just got this in the mail the other day from Amazon. This is just one of the, I'll take it right out of this, do a live unboxing. I already have one of these, but this is just one of those book lights that clips on. I think I paid $7 the other day, and it's got a USB-C charging port, and it's just real simple. These things, like you don't have to recharge that often. They'll go for a while, but I mean, it's just super handy. And like for like $7 to, have something that you can put with each of your rigs or kits. And, you can use it for reading, like if you want to actually read a book, or magazine.
Even like
so
this
those are
tiny
great.
little USB little light.
Oh gosh, darn it, Jeff. Hold on.
Oh,
And big
right,
in them.
I forgot about those.
Oh cow. What we got here?
And this is actually from our buddies at Gigaparts.
Oh.
Right, it's just like a little circuit board with LEDs on it, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can get like a USB A or male to female little flexible thingy, and you connect it to something with a USB port, and you can move it all around.
There we go.
Yeah.
Use code GrayManPOTA at checkout for double points.
And I'm a big flashlight nerd. I got a whole bunch of different O lights, like the O clips, the O clip Ultra and Pros. They're all in the other room though. Even got the bulbs, the O bulbs, some different ones of those, and you could all use them, and they're magnetic, which is great too, and connect them to somewhere inside your car or where you're at, or clip them to your jacket or your hat.
Yeah, I have that O clip, and that's on my 705 bag in the car, and like it's just like you said, you can clip it right onto like your jacket and illuminate the radio, or when you're hooking something up. Those things work awesome, and you can get those things for like between $10 and $20 depending like what time of year it is, or
if they're running a sale.
It's I've got the little ones on the keychain and stuff like it. They really come in handy.
Yeah, I found this little bugger here.
Got it. Oh,
it's a tiny little one.
It's a very tiny little one. And so that's, that's a USB-A connector on it, and it's thin because it's, circuit board thick. That's it.
Yeah, with a ground plane.
With a ground plane. It's the heat sink for these LEDs because them little bastards are bright. But I found that at my local electronics wholesaler. It was $1.
Yeah.
Right. So you throw that on your keychain or throw it in your bag or whatever, and you've got a light if you don't own a headlamp. But who doesn't own a headlamp? Who goes out, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Plug it in, Vince. John wants me to plug it in. Okay.
Plug it in.
We're gonna plug it in. And now I just want you to stare at this.
Yes.
And here we go.
Right.
And thank you. And now you don't remember anything I just said.
There we go.
Vince is one of the Men in Black. Knew it.
Or today,
Canadian version.
Men in Blue.
Yeah.
And somebody asked if these things come with USB-C connectors on them. I mean, how hard is it to cut that off and put a USB-C on it? If you have to.
Have you seen our community?
Right.
Yeah, but like for example, Frank. Have we seen Frank's soldering?
Well, so then you ask a friend, and you avoid solderoids. Because preparation flux is a thing.
Wow.
To prevent solderoids.
Yeah, there we go.
There's your outtake clip of the day.
Absolutely. Golly.
Nice.
Yes, Frank has gotten better.
Hey, we're talking here.
Better at what? I don't know.
Have you guys found gloves that you like to use in the winter for operating? I got some like fisherman ones where like it's like mittens and it folds back so the fingers are exposed. You can like expose the fingers, but they do an okay job. But I still haven't found gloves I like that I will consistently keep on when I'm setting up and tearing down without just getting frustrated because of like a loss of dexterity, and I just like screw it. I'll just be cold, and stuff. But I've had a challenge to find gloves that have like a good grip or will let me work with my iPhone or iPad, something with a touch screen. But at the same time, just keep me warm. And I haven't found that good mix of all those characteristics.
So mechanics gloves, I used to use those when we were doing stage work and stuff like that. But it wasn't always like super cold out either. So and I don't know I don't think they can do the touch. Like I had a nice pair of insulated gloves that supposedly you could do the touch screen with. And I think it had to pass, but I put them on this time around and I couldn't get my phone to work. But they're still nice and warm. I mean, I'll take the glove off if I have to use the phone, but
or to law.
I think everything's a compromise on what we do.
Chris Atlas's handler says that newer mechanics gloves do have the phone screen compatibility thing. So
Captive touch.
Yeah. I just like I'm so used to, I prefer more often than not to log on my phone. And so I like to be able to have, like the thumb or, at least the thumb and the index finger. Look at Vince dropping it like it's hot. Vince, how cold is in there? You're shrinking.
So I just got a new chair a few days ago. Obviously, I don't know where the controls are.
Yeah.
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 And
Nice.
John has entered his confirmation that they do have.
Good. I'll check those out.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I kind of like, if I'm operating in the wintertime, I have my own the way I do it. I just heat my car up till I get on the air and make
Mhm.
sure the heat's on full blast, fans full blast. And once I get everything set up and ready to get on the air, I turn the engine off and kind of just sit in the heat. And if I'm out there for an hour, I'm usually pretty good. I might even have to take my jacket off, or at least unzip it to not overheat. But I haven't really have to worry about gloves except when I'm setting up stuff outside.
Well, and that was my goal for the ATOS last year, and why I went with that, so I didn't have to get outside and set up. I could still do those quick activations, and I like to get out and I do get better performance with a long wire out, or even just a regular full ground mounted vertical versus the ATOS. But there's convenience too, right? Time versus convenience.
Oh, sure. Yep.
Factor. And Mike K&MRD sold me on it, not so much because he does cold weather activations, but the inverse of that, he does hot weather activations, and some of that Texas sun, it's just easier to stay in the vehicle with the air conditioning on. So
yeah. Well, you mentioned bands and stuff. That's a kind of another factor too. Or you were talking about wanting to have a long wire out. With it getting dark early, we're especially where we are, lower bands, 40, 60, 80, 160, those bands are open a lot more at this time of year. And also just because it's getting dark so much earlier. And this is generally the time where I have an 80 meter off center fed. I love to set up, and I just got a 80 meter end fed. I have yet to set up, but when you 130 something feet of wire, that's it's definitely a lot. But fortunately, there are as many people out in the parks this time of year and stuff. But when you think about the benefits of being able to get on some of those lower bands, have better antennas and stuff, that just necessitates the need for everything else that we were talking about earlier, whether it's having illumination and good solutions for lighting and staying warm, because it takes a hell of a lot longer to set up an 80 meter antenna than it does to put a ham stick on the roof. And I definitely love the convenience sometimes, but at the same point, it's nice to be able to get on some of those bands that I don't really operate on in the summer when it's nice.
Yep.
So
I do need to do a lot more 80 meters. I did purchase a 80 meter ham stick, but I have yet to stick it on top of my car and tune it yet. So I mean, you might have to do that sometime coming up.
I had decent luck with one. I borrowed one from somebody because I was kind of curious, and it seemed to work fine. I think, and I know it's the same way with my 40 meter versus like my 20 is. With the 40 meter, I kind of got to pick, do I want to be in the voice or the digital side when I tune it, versus the 20 where I can be good across the band. And then you go to 80 and it's like, well, you're going to be in the voice section, but are you going to be at 3.9 or 3.8? Like, choose. So
choose your poison there. These are those Thermomax gloves that John, it was John that mentioned it, and they got that little symbol.
Oh, they're nice.
Oh, Prep and Paul. Okay, yeah. I mean, those look fairly fairly thin, to where I would think that it would be worth guys, what do you think? Should Mike buy a pair and let us know?
I do like, and I have some gloves that have like that rubber grip on the palm, and that's nice when for the masts and everything, to get a little bit more grip on the masts as you're trying to set it up, take it down.
Yep.
I realized what I was doing with my hands there, but ultimately, it's that comes in nice to get that extra little grip. But they do look thin. But hey, somebody had a comment in the chat earlier too about winter cycling gear. and looking at some of that for
Mhm.
winter operations. And that's
Yes.
neat because I never thought about that, but I bet there's a lot of good crossover appeal for some winter cycling stuff, especially on the QRP side of things. But I'll have to look into some of that. I know photography stuff. Like I have a ton of like photography gear that I use in ham radio applications, not just tripods, but the bags and the protective gear are fantastic for transceivers and stuff. So
Mike, so I think the poll in the chat was go ahead and buy them and let the group know.
All right.
Yeah.
So, think about the stuff you got to bring. Maybe you've got I don't know, a different set of feed line or whatever you got for the winter, something that's far more flexible than you would normally bring out in the summer. I mean, you could use that flexible stuff all year long, the supple wire, as I've been known to say. But
Yeah.
sometimes you want to spread the workload out over several pieces of feed line so you don't beat one up too badly if you're going out every day or 3 times a week or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So just rotate through it. There's always that.
Small, medium, and extra large, I think, are the 3 sizes. No, medium, large, and extra large are the 3 sizes of the glove, and they come in black or elephant gray.
Okay.
Spelled GRAY, the American way.
With no deference to the Canadian on the call. Got it.
Sorry. I'd tell you what.
Sorry.
If you go to their site.ca, it probably is spelled GREY.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, guys, this has been a great conversation. It's definitely a topic starter, and hopefully we can spend some time and we might have to do something a little bit later than what we normally do to do a recorded conversation with our friend over in Alaska, just because of the timing. But definitely, I think the big thing is stay prepared, stay safe, and if it's don't put yourself in a dangerous situation just to get a contact or to do an act, to complete that activation by that 10 contact standard. So
yeah, be safe, be smart, don't be an idiot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Vince.
Yep.
Exactly.
What do you got coming up on your channel this next week?
I don't know. I have a piece of footage here in the camera that I really should get to, and I've had so much other stuff going on. So I don't know when that unknown video is coming out, but we're going to make that happen. And I'm going to be in Banff, Alberta next week. And so I am going to once again attempt to do a SOTA. Yes, on one of the coldest days of the year, because why not? I'll carry my KX2 up to the top of Tunnel Mountain, which is a pretty easy SOTA. Have a little bit of fun during the holidays.
Now, do they give you extra points? Do they give you extra points for SOTA based on the temperature?
There is a winter bonus for some summits.
Yeah.
I don't know if that one qualifies me or not, but I don't care.
I mean, because Tim, I saw that video he put out not too long ago, where he climbed up the side of Mount. Mount St. Helens? I was thinking Mount Rainier, but one of those mountains. Climbed up there in the winter time. Had to start at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to get up there, and crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's nuts.
Mike, how about you? What do you got coming up this next week?
Man, I'm getting southy. I am off to Virginia this weekend, and then North Texas next week.
Where in Virginia going?
I'm going to be. Did you say south?
I'm going to be in Richmond. One of my best friends grew up down the road from me.
Cool.
Went to high school, college together. He turns 50, so I'm going to go drink some malt liquor and reminisce about the days of long back.
Were you drinking good times the other night?
40.
Yeah, I did.
Was it Old 8 or Old English?
Yeah, it was OE. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was that or St. Ides, one of the two. I was like, what?
I picked some up at the beer store to bring down as It's like a gag gift, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna break one of these out. It's been a while, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to going down south and stuff. Not gonna activate down in Virginia. I'm going down with another non-ham friend, and so it is what it is. I've already
Give
activated
me 30
VA.
minutes. I'll be really quick. 30 minutes. Let me just activate this park.
Yeah, take your
10
friend.
con-
Take
11,
your friend.
11 contacts. There you go.
Yeah, and then
Take your
but I
G90.
do have to turn Texas green, so I got to activate in Texas when I'm down there. So
Chat saying you need to
that's what's
drink
coming
some
up.
SEMA.
Yeah, I'll have some videos coming out that I shot this week.
John drinks Zima.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the holidays. Tomorrow's my last day, and I'm off for like a couple weeks. So
Cool.
Lots of travel, but lots of fun times with friends and family and stuff. So that's what the holidays are about. What about you, Jeff?
Presents. Working on a video from my my trip to Virginia. That's almost done. Website's up. Got merchandise. Got a mailing list. Website's k3jrz.com. Easy peasy. Merchandise. If you order a shirt and it's not this color, send it back. I got my samples today, and I got 2 different items, and they're 2 different colors, and I'm like, what the hex? So I got to talk to them about quality control.
Is there a Pantone number that people should be comparing against?
It's I can give you the hex code 00FF00. There you go.
Perfect. Yeah.
There you go. If it's not like a limey green, send it back. If it's a darker green, send it back.
Yeah.
Get a return. Tell me you want the right color. Y'all know my logos. It's on every video and stuff. So.
Yeah. Yep. Indeed.
Yeah. So the website's up finally. Thank you, Vince, for it took me a little bit while to get some content ideas of what I should put up there. I still need to actually do it though.
Cooley says 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Yes.
That's right. 2 thumbs up, Cooley.
Yep. Made a
That's
Cooley.
a damn fine looking
contact
website.
with Cooley like 2 weeks ago. Again, that's awesome.
That's
Phew.
There we go.
Oh, come on.
What's the other one?
Oh God, who knows?
Hey Tim, what do you got coming up, man?
Well, I was able to get an ICOM IC7300 Mark II, so I've put out a couple videos. Actually, I got a third one. I think that's launching here in a couple minutes, and just having fun with it, getting back into doing radio here in the shack and
Nice.
Doing comparisons and stuff like that. And I tell you, I love the radio. It does everything that I bought a Flex for. It just doesn't have that Flex price tag. And nothing against Flex, but I think it's more budget friendly for somebody who wants to do that. So and it's it's got good bones, right? It's based on the 7300, which is a great radio, and it's taken it just that step further. So that's what I got going on. So guys, we are going to get out of here. Ham Nation is on tonight. I think they've got Santa Claus and maybe some other people stopping in. So make sure you go check that out. And any last minute go to the table comments or
got none. Are we here next week? That's a question for.
I'm going to be here.
Know. Tim's going to be here. All right.
I'll be here.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
it'll be light. It'll be fun.
What's next week?
Well, it'll be Christmas Eve. So some of us will see you. Some of us will see you next week.
I'll let you know. Yeah,
that's what we just heard. Okay.
Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Although I think there'll be several New Year's Eve.
There'll be lots of those going on.
So if we're on it, it'll probably just be for the normal 1 hour time slot. But
right on,
guys. Have a great evening, everybody, and we will catch you later.
73.
73.